was starting a business in 2026, here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't hire a bookkeeper on day one. I wouldn't build a budgeting spreadsheet, and I definitely wouldn't dump every dollar back into the business hoping that it'll pay off someday later. That's the outdated playbook, and it's why so many business owners end up broke, stressed about taxes, and completely blind to what they can actually afford. Instead, I'd set up one system from day one that pays me consistently, automates our tax savings and real profit, and no matter what the revenue looks like, it takes care of all the cash flow. Quick note, before every CPA in the comments comes after me, I'm not giving you tax or legal advice. Always work with your accountant or tax pro from a compliance and strategy perspective, but what I am telling you is that I've worked with hundreds of business owners helping improve their cash flow, and I've seen something that consistently works for these businesses no matter what industry they're in. What I'm giving you is a practical system for managing your cash flow, that one that's automated, that's proven, and built for 2026, not for 1995 processes. So let's start with three of the most common pieces of advice that new business owners hear and why they don't work anymore. And the first one is keeping a detailed budget and tracking every expense manually. Sounds good in theory, but here's the reality. If you're going to spend hours every week categorizing your $37 software charge in QuickBooks instead of closing new clients, you're missing out. Manual expense tracking is useful for taxes, but it doesn't tell you what you can safely spend right now. And automation can solve all of that literally instantly. The second thing that people hear is reinvest every dollar back into the business, and that's fine for some companies. But let's be honest, this one kills more small businesses than most people realize. Owners end up working for free for years, telling themselves, oh, someday I'll pay myself. But the thing is that businesses that don't pay their owners, if they don't do it consistently, they fail because the owner burns out. The truth is you need to build a personal income early, even if it's small. And the third thing is hiring a bookkeeper immediately. Do you need professional support? Absolutely. But $2,000, $3,000 a month when you're doing $15,000 in revenue, that's insane. Bookkeepers and accountants are critical for tax and financial strategy, but from a daily cash flow management, you should be just automating it. It's not 1995 anymore. Those are 1995 jobs. And in 2026, software does this far better, far quicker, and for just a fraction of the cost. So here's what I do instead. I would automate money flow on day one. Don't wait until you're drowning in revenue. Granted, that's an awesome problem to have, but you can start simple and scale the system as you grow. We're going to pay ourselves consistently from the very beginning. Not everything, just 10, maybe 15% of revenue. And that's only $150 on your first $1,000 in revenue. It isn't about the money, it's about the habit. You need to build this habit. Next, we're going to talk about taking profits automatically, because if you don't earmark profits, it's going to disappear into expenses. Businesses don't magically become profitable. They force profitability into the system, and that's what you need to be doing. And here's exactly what I would set up on day one, and we call this the zero to launch map. When revenue lands in your account, it's going to split automatically into 4 different buckets. We've got a separate account for taxes. In this case, we're going to be sending 25% of it instantly to a separate account, literally a different checking account that we're able to open up with just 2 clicks inside of Sequence. Click and drag to create a rule where 25% instantly is going to be going into our tax account. Full routing and account number, we can even get a debit card for this account. So these are literally independent accounts, so we don't need to worry about commingling funds, and we know that the money's sitting there whenever the quarterly payments due or tax time is due. It's already handled, you don't need to think about it. Next up is creating an operating expense account. Again, got a debit card directly for this account. It takes 2 seconds and 2 clicks to open up. Most people we see are typically in that 40 to 50% range, and this runs the business, right? This is for your contractors, your software, your ads, your subscriptions. And if you constantly need more than that, in your service business especially, you might not have a budgeting problem. You might actually have a business model problem. But again, we can instantly make sure that our money is set aside specifically for our operating expenses. Next up is owner's pay. And here we see 25% a lot of times, sometimes significantly more, sometimes less, but we want to make sure we're starting this habit early. Even in month 1, you need to pay yourself something. This creates that habit that your business exists to support you, not the other way around. And lastly, we have our surplus and flex account. This is whatever's left, usually anywhere from 5 to 15%. And think of this as your shock absorber. In good months, it's going to build up, and at month's end, we can direct it towards whatever we want. Maybe it's paying off debt that you needed in order to start the business. Maybe it's building an emergency fund for the business, or making an investment, or taking a distribution. This is what gives you that flexibility so that when you have a down month, you've got money set aside and you're constantly building that buffer cushion that you need for your business. And that's it. It's 4 simple accounts, 1 automated system, no calculators, no transfers every 2 weeks, no babysitting your money. And here's the advantage of doing this from day one. When you're in the early stages, maybe revenue is probably low, right? Maybe it's only $5,000, maybe you're at $10,000, but you're building a discipline. You're paying yourself something. you're setting aside money for taxes, and you're proving your business model is sustainable. While your competitors are burning all of their money trying to just look successful, you're actually creating the foundation that you need to grow, because the next step is that growth stage. And maybe your revenue is growing to $15,000, maybe $30,000. You're paying yourself $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. Your tax reserves are building, your surplus is accumulating, and your competitors are still waiting for that big break because they're still feeling broke, but you're stable and you're building your business and wealth. And lastly, when we get to that scaling stage, now you're doing $40,000, $80,000, maybe $120,000 or more per month, and you're paying yourself a great salary. Maybe it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 or more every single month. Your taxes, they're already covered. Your surplus, it's ready to deploy, to eliminate debt, to grow your investments, or maybe just take for distributions. And while others are panicking with their first $50,000 tax bill, you're scaling smoothly because the system already handles all of those pieces for you. The old school advice isn't wrong, it's just outdated. The manual systems worked when automation didn't exist. Historical reporting used to be the only option when you couldn't see your cash flow in real time, but in 2026, automation handles execution. Professionals still matter, especially for your tax strategy and compliance and investment strategy, so don't go firing your accountant. But you don't need to pay people to just move money around every week. That's what software is for, and again, it can do it at the fraction of the cost. So if you are starting a business in 2026 without automation, it's like starting an e-commerce brand without using Shopify. Like, sure, technically it's possible, but why would you choose the hard way? These frameworks are proven, thousands and thousands of users doing this exact same process. What's different is that we can automate the execution, so the system actually sticks and you don't need to rely on your own willpower. And again, if you're starting a business in 2026, or you've already got one and you're tired of all of the money chaos that is so common for business owners, I built this starter map and you can download a copy of it yourself for free. It works, it'll save you from years of trial and error. So click the link below to get started and start running your money like it's 2026 and not 1995.